Good evening. Good evening. I, Lasagna Flowers Ivory, Vice President of the Duncanville ISD Board of Trustees, call this meeting of the Duncanville Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a visible quorum of Board of Trustees is present, that the meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. Our mission at Duncanville ISD is to engage, equip, and empower all scholars to achieve their unique potential. We will now move to opening ceremonies. At this time, we will have our invocation by Ms. Veracruz.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Vice President. Please join me for a word of prayer. Lord, we honor you this evening and dedicate this meeting of minds to you. I pray that you lead our paths of decisions and discussion that glorify you always. I pray for your light is always constant, no matter the circumstances. I pray for leaders, educators, staff, students, that their steps are guided by your light. I speak a blessing on every presenter and guest here tonight. Thank you, Lord, that you give us clarity, courage, and sense of strength in our meeting this evening because you are always here. Amen.
Amen. Can we all stand for the pledge? Thank you. You may be seated. We will now move to our superintendent's report. I will now turn the meeting over to Ms. Andrea Fields.
Well, good evening, Vice President Dr. Ivory, trustees, and Duncanville ISD school family and guests. February is a pretty busy month. Several of our campuses are hosting Black History Month celebrations, and our Health and Wellness Committee has been encouraging everyone to pay close attention to their cardiovascular health, as this is also National Health Month. The Health and Wellness Committee is comprised of our Human Resources Department, Health Services, and Counseling Department. And speaking of our counselors, I had an opportunity to spend some time with them last week during National School Counseling Week. As I visited with them, I reminded the counselors of the light that they carry. Light to lift, light to let, and light to listen. Every role in our district is important, and having high quality and skilled counselors is critical to the success of our students. So I want to say, and I'm sure you'll join me, and thank our counselors for all they do. Under the leadership of Ms. Pratt, we're thankful and grateful for this group of our counselors in Duncanville Independent School District. Thank you. A couple of weeks ago, we held our annual Athletics Hall of Honor celebration. All 5 of this year's inductees had such powerful stories about their time at Duncanville High School and their journey after graduating. They shared the impact athletics had on their lives and expressed so much heartfelt gratitude to the teachers, administrators, and coaches that poured into them. As a matter of fact, one of them said it was a night of thank you. Hearing their stories, of course, invigorated me and reminded me of the great impact that teachers and coaches and educators have on our students and how we play an important role in the success of those who are former students and then even our current students, and that we are positioned to be difference makers for our students. Next slide. Well, 2024 is off to a great start with several bragging rights already. And since last month's board meeting, we had a chance to celebrate the 2023 accomplishments with the Parade of Champions block party. If you missed it, you missed it. I'd like to express my gratitude to the community for making this evening special for our students. We were able to recognize our back-to-back state champions in football, celebrate our very first girls track and field state championship,
Yes.
acknowledge our boys basketball team for earning the coveted title of national champions, and congratulate our fine art students that earn all state honors. We want to thank the city of Duncanville for partnering with our communications department to plan and execute this event. This night was truly energizing and a tribute to the collective work and support of our school family and community as we celebrate once again the title of being the City of Champions.
Yes.
Last night, if you watched the Super Bowl, last night the Super Bowl was in Las Vegas, and they have a saying, what happens in Vegas
Stays in Vegas.
stays in Vegas. Well, at the end of January, several of our leaders attended the Midwinter Texas Association of School Administrators Conference in Austin. But in Duncanville, we believe that what's learned here leaves here. We had several of our leaders share their knowledge and expertise with others across the state. Our special projects team explained key strategies for telling their story. The C&I department shared ways to reframe assessment and data analysis so that everyone develops a shared ownership for our students. And then school leadership and C&I teamed up and shared how we differentiate support for campuses while aligning leadership and instruction. You see the names of the individuals on the screen there. We want to thank everyone that presented, and they did a marvelous job representing Duncanville ISD. So congratulations and thank you, team, for presenting on our behalf. Next, we want to appreciate and thank the Duncanville Rotary for their support. They have been enhancing the teachers' lounges at our campuses, and so far, they have assisted us with changing the lounges at Alexander, Bill Hart's, Central, Fair Meadows, Hastings, Hyman, Merrifield, and Smith with upgrades. They've donated and contributed things such as coffee pots, refreshments, furniture, decor, dishwashers, and they've been making these spaces more comfortable for our campus staff. And if you'll just join me and thank the Duncanville Rotary, we have some members here for their generosity. And my last item to report this evening is about one of our new communications tools that we've implemented this school year. The platform is called Talking Points. It allows us to engage in two-way text communication with our parents. What we love about the tool is that it archives the conversations for us. Also, it removes the language barrier because we don't want to have to wait for someone to translate the message. Teachers and leaders type the message in English, and it automatically translates it into the parent's preferred language. Furthermore, it protects the privacy of our parents as well because the settings allow the parents to respond to the text, but only the teacher or leader will see their response. To date, we've reached over 8,000 families through school text announcements. Our teachers have sent over 32,000 individual messages, and our families have corresponded with us through over 43,000 messages. Overall, since we've started using this tool in August, administrators, teachers, and families have sent a total of over 65,000 messages or announcements. Talking Points is proven to be one of the most powerful ways for us to keep parents informed and have an open line of communication. So, Madam Vice President, That concludes the superintendent's report. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Fields. We will now move to recognitions. I will turn the meeting over to Connie Wallace.
Good evening, Vice President Dr. Ivory, the Board of Trustees, and Interim Superintendent Mrs. Fields. On the screen, you see we have donations for this month, and we are grateful for the $10,000 in donations that we have received. Are there any questions about the donations?
No.
All right. Then I will move into our next recognition, which is Made with Pride in Duncanville. So each month in Duncanville, we honor a student, a staff member, and teacher who goes above and beyond. They are chosen from nominations submitted by coworkers, classmates, or community members. These individuals reflect the excellence and pride of our district, and they are truly made with pride in Duncanville. At this time, I'd like to invite Ms. Burks. Will you please join me at the podium? As Ms. Burks joins me at the podium, I'd like to let you know that Ms. Kirsten Green, do you know Ms. Green? Yes, you do. Ms. Kirsten Green is the person that nominated you for this recognition. And she says that Belinda Burks is a teacher. She's a teacher at Central Elementary, but she is way more than that. She is one of the most extraordinary teachers of special needs students that she has ever encountered. Wow. She says that you go above and beyond every day to ensure that your students are not only safe and well cared for, but also equipped with essential skills, life skills, that will serve them throughout their school years and beyond. She is committed, she's saying that you are committed to their holistic development, which is evident through your engaging teaching methods and personalized approach to each child's needs. She also wanted everybody to know that your communication skills maintains an open and frequent line of communication with all of the parents. She says that you keep them informed about classroom activities, progress, and important dates within the school. And she says that that creates a very strong sense of community and collaboration. She says that these are a few words that she used to describe you. She said that you are compassionate, that you are dedicated, and that you are innovative. And she wants to let you know that you are truly made with pride in Duncanville.
Wow. Yes.
So we have a certificate here for you. And we're going to get some more pictures of you after the meeting, okay? And if there are any family members or friends, colleagues that are here to support Ms. Burks, please stand so that we can all see who you are. Yes. Thank you. At this time, if I can please invite Eden to join me at the podium. Where's Miss Eden? Hello, little lady. How are you today? All right, I have a certificate for you. This is the part I always forget. I forget to give people their certificates. Let me give that to you now. So, Eden, you are a student at Alexander Elementary. What grade are you in?
Fourth.
Eden is a fourth grader at Alexander Elementary School. And did you know that you are exceptional in every way?
No.
You didn't know that. Do you know Christy?
Yes.
You do know Christy? How do you know Christy?
That's my mom.
Oh, look at there. So, Christy is her mom, and her mom nominated her for Made with Pride in Duncanville. And she wants you to know that you are exceptional in every way, and that she is so proud of you because you excel academically every single year. One of your most proud accomplishments she shared with us is that you earned the Principals Awards 2 years in a row. Do you know how hard that is? That's major. And she said that even at a young age, you set expectations for yourself, and you work really, really hard to make sure that you accomplish your goals. Keep that up. And she loves your bubbly personality. She says it's very contagious, and she's looking forward to you becoming the doctor that you want to be. So thank you for being made with pride in Duncanville. And at this time, if there are family members here to support Miss Eden, please stay standing, family members. Let us see you. Thank you. She has accomplished greatness because of you all. And our final Made with Pride honoree is Mr. Wayne Bosher. Where is Mr. Bosher? Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. You did not correct me. Oh, that's nice. You have a fancy name, sir. All right, well, we want you to know that Chad Rocker, you know Chad? He nominated you for Made with Pride in Duncanville. And this is your certificate. Let me make sure I give this to you. And afterwards, we're going to get some more pictures of you. But he wanted you to know that you recently transferred from the HVAC filter tech to assistant lead maintenance at Duncanville High School. And he wanted to make sure that you know and that everybody in Duncanville knows that you are truly made with pride, that now that you are there, your presence is felt, your leadership is felt, and that they really appreciate you. He says that you go so far above and beyond in every single thing that you do, and that your presence helps make the school and the district shine. And so for that, you are made with pride in Duncanville. Congratulations. Will the family and friends of Mr. Bosher please stand and be recognized? Thank you. And now let's take a look at the video we have of these honorees.
The following student, staff member, and teacher who are made with pride in Duncanville.
Hi, I'm Belinda Burks. I am an early childhood special education teacher at Central Elementary, and I love getting involved with the children. I saw something in them that the public really didn't know about special education. These kids are gifted, very talented. They kind of like have a hidden talent, and I just wanted to prove that they can learn. And they're no different than general education children. I just want to say, and I truly mean this, teaching is the best job in the world because it's a noble career. You're shaping minds, and just seeing them progress. That's a joy they're learning, and I love it.
My name is Eden Smith. I'm in the 4th grade at Alexander Elementary. My favorite part of school would probably have to be math. I mostly like division and multiplication. It's super fun to me, and I think learning is important because it increases things you can do. It opens up more opportunities, and if you learn a lot, you can help other people learn.
Hi, my name is Wayne Bosher, and I'm at Duncanville High School Maintenance. I've done general maintenance, a little bit of electrical. I worked on the yard crew for 6 months. I've just almost done any job there is out there. It just depends. Some day we could be unstopping a sewer. Some day we're working on sinks. Some days we're welding gates. And we do the best we can at what we need to do around the high school. My knowledge helps them get their job done in a good way, in a safe way as well. And make the high school a safer place for the kids to have a good learning environment. The best part of my day would be seeing the smiles on the people's faces and the job that we do for them and how they react and feel about what we do for them. Just the environment and the family that you feel like you're working with every day. It's just I just have enjoyed working here for the last 30 years.
These honorees truly are made with pride in Duncanville.
Thank you. Next slide, please. And next, I would like to ask Mr. Coach Passos to please join me at the podium. He is no stranger to anyone here in Duncanville. He is our phenomenal boys soccer coach. And guys, guess what? He has earned his 300th career win. So Coach Passos is in his 25th year of teaching and coaching and his 16th year here at Duncanville High School with a decade of coaching and teaching prior to that. He is only the third boys coach for soccer here in Duncanville. So they get here and they stay, so stick around. Coach Passos is a very dedicated coach, a multi-time District Coach of the Year, and a Dallas Morning News and Star Telegram Coach of the Year. Throughout his career, Passos has been selected as the Texas High School Soccer Coaches Regional Coach of the Year and also the North Texas Competitive Coach of the Year. Tonight, we celebrate that Coach Passos recently earned his 300th career win, and you have a very intriguing story. I know that one of my team members came out today and interviewed you, and we're looking forward to sharing that story across the Metroplex with several media outlets because your story is worth sharing with everybody. And so tonight, we want to just thank you for your dedication, your hard work, and your service here in Duncanville ISD, and congratulations on your 300th win.
Just real quickly, I just want to say I think it's a testament to, you know, the immense talent we have, the loyalty of the coaches, and the support of both administration and teachers. We can't do it without that support. So just want to thank everybody. That's it's truly is. It takes a village. So I'm not here by myself. It's those kids, the coaches, and the teachers and admin that support us and show us grace, because it's hard to get all those kids on the field, but without their support, we wouldn't be here. So thank you for all the support we've received over the years.
And if you have, I think I saw some folks with you tonight, so if there are friends, colleagues that are here to help support you tonight, please stand and be recognized. His Duncanville High School family, athletics family, please stand and be recognized. Thank you.
Shake some hands.
Absolutely. So you guys be on the lookout for a wonderful story that's going to tell a lot more about Passos. It'll be in several media outlets really soon. Thank you. And next, so Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated is a private, not-for-profit organization of college-educated women whose purpose is to provide assistance and support through established programs in local communities. We appreciate the Dallas Alumni Chapter for assisting us with getting our high school students registered to vote earlier this school year. They were at DHS registering our students. And the founders of Delta Sigma Theta, they envisioned an organization committed to scholarship, service, addressing the social issues of the time, and sisterhood. And so when they learned that one of their sisters, a member of the Dallas Alumni Chapter, was named interim superintendent here in Duncanville ISD, they asked for an opportunity to show their continued support for Duncanville ISD and their sorority sister. At this time, please join me in welcoming the 49th president of the Dallas Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, President Carla McGarry.
Good evening to the Board of Trustees. Again, I am Carla McGarry, President of the Dallas Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Delta Sigma Theta is a 501c7 public service organization. The Dallas Alumni Chapter, chartered in 1924,
is celebrating 100 years of public service, and we are committed to programs that focus on the educational development and academic excellence of students in Dallas County. Our programs include the Frederica Chase Dodd Scholarship, where we have awarded over $1 million to high school female seniors in Dallas County. At this time, will the members of the Dallas Alumni Chapter please stand? Will members of Delta Sigma Theta please stand, and please remain standing. On behalf of the Executive Board and members of the Dallas Alumni Chapter, we are extremely excited to be here this evening, and thank you for the invitation. We would like to welcome and congratulate the newly appointed Interim Superintendent, Andrea Fields, a member of Dallas Alumni. We are here to thank you and acknowledge you, Superintendent Fields. I love the title, Superintendent Fields, for your unwavering dedication and commitment to the faculty, to the board, the staff, and students of Duncanville ISD. We want you to know that we are here to fully support you, we love you, and we are here to encourage you in your new role. Thank you for your commitment to education. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And now, if we can please invite Governor Lee and Attorney General Moreno, please join me at the podium. Yeah, you're good. Either way. All right, so if you guys have not heard, I would like to reintroduce to you all Mr. Preston Lee, the governor, and Miss Giselle Moreno, the Attorney General. These two young folks, they recently attended the Youth in Government Conference, and that conference is in its 78th year. And they won Governor and Attorney General. Voted on, elected by their peers. So with the wins of Giselle Moreno as Attorney General and Preston Lee as Governor, Duncanville High School now controls two top sections in youth and government. In the 10 years that Duncanville High School has participated in youth and government, this will be the third time having an Attorney General and our third time to have a governor. But this is the first time that we have the two positions held at the same time. So I think that means that we're going to need to mark our calendar, because in January of 2025, both of you all will preside over the 78th Texas Youth and Government Conference. This is going to be so fantastic. We are extremely proud of both of you, and we congratulate you. We know that this is a monumental task, and that you've had some great leadership to help make this happen. Is that right? Yes. So at this time, if Madam Vice President, may I invite Mr. Kane up to speak briefly about this wonderful accomplishment that he has helped our students garner. All right, Mr. Kane, come on down.
First, I want to thank the board for having me out and having Giselle and Preston out, and really thank you for the last decade. for your support. Thank you, Superintendent Fields, for everything that you do for us. I was trying to think of a sports analogy. It would kind of be like the basketball team and the soccer team and the football team all winning state championships in the same year. I don't really think a lot of people understand and the nuance of youth in government, but both of them were able to not, they announced their candidacy in the summer. They ran for 3 months. Dallas District is one of the largest districts in youth in government with over 700 students. They had, in November, they had that district conference. They were able to win that election. And then from there, spend the next 3 months running for their state office position, where over 1,500 students in Austin voted for them to take the top spot just in the legislative branch, but also the judicial branch. So Duncanville High School. So Duncanville High School now controls the 2 largest sections in youth in government. So that being said, I really do just want to, thank Preston and thank Giselle for putting in the hard work. I mean, it's a 6-month campaign to do this. So it's not something that, we just wake up one morning and decide to do it. You literally have to think years in advance. And the beauty of both of these, I call these everybody understand legacy, right? Preston's brother was a state officer, right? Giselle, right, had a sister and a brother in youth in government. So they come from a family of youth in government, and this shows you that these are positions. Speaking to that youth in governor before, Sharif Long is now working in D.C. as a legislative aide and, working, in government. So this is just something that these 2 people will be able to move forward, put it on their college resume, and be able to come back one day and speak to the board and speak to future youth in government students about their accomplishment. And I just want to thank the board again, thank Mr. Byrd and everyone for their support, and thank y'all too for putting everything on the line and coming out on top and being, once again, City of Champions.
Will the family and friends of Preston and Giselle please stand and be recognized? Thank you. And this concludes our recognition portion of our time today.
Thank you, Ms. Wallace. Mr. Kane, and to your team and the students. Mr. Kane, I just want to say thank you so much for the program that you have. Many of the things that I learned about politics, I didn't learn until I was in college. And so our students have such a head start with learning about how things work. People say, I'm not a politician, but politics just really means how things work. There are politics in every single profession and everything that we do. It literally means how things work. So thank you so much for giving our students a head start and just learning more and in details about how things work. Thank you so much. We will now go into closed session. Maybe we should have saved Ms. Fields to the end for our audience. Okay, we are back now from closed session. We do not have any communication from citizens. Thank you. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we move items 8A and 8B up to the consent agenda to be voted on altogether.
Second.
The motion has been made by trustee Savage Martin, second by trustee Fahey. Are there any questions, comments, or discussions? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. There are none opposed. Motion passes 4-0.
I would also like to make a motion that we approve the consent agenda items as amended.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, raise your right hand. Any opposed? The motion carries 4-0. Thank you, trustee Savage Martin. Now we will move to item C in our action item. Our presenter is, who is that? Ms. Zamora. Thank you so much.
Good evening, Vice President Flowers Ivory, Mrs. Fields, Board of Trustees. So as recommended by the 2023 Bond Committee, HVAC units and energy management controls will be updated based on need as identified in the facility assessment. Byrd Middle School has 14 units that need replacing. Since the goal is to replace the roof this summer when students are not in session, we'd like to move forward and coordinate the replacement of the needed HVAC units and energy management controls. The district has successfully utilized Train Technologies for past HVAC needs, including units replaced in recent years through ESSER funding. Train units align with most of our HVAC units in making replacements of parts, repairs, and maintenance more efficient. Train Technologies has pre-vetted and approved contracts with several purchasing co-ops. Byrd Middle School units will be funded through bond reimbursement funds. Therefore, tonight we're recommending the board approve the purchase of 14 HVAC units and energy management controls from Train Technologies at a cost of $220,515 as part of the approved bond allocations. Please let me know if there's any questions. Mr. Paterka, Director of Maintenance, or I can answer for you.
Trustee Fahey?
Thank you. Are the 14 units the total number of units, or how many would be 14, half of the units being replaced, or how many total units are at Byrd?
So they have a total of 76 units, but of the 76 units, 62 of them were more recently replaced. And so the ones that we're wanting to replace, those were first installed in 2000, 2003, 2005. So at the moment, we just need 14.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Zamar.
You're welcome.
Board, do you have any other questions? Do I have a motion to approve the purchase of 14 HVAC unit replacements from the Train Technologies at a cost of $220,515?
So moved.
Second.
The motion has been made by trustee Fahey, seconded by trustee Veracruz. Are all in favor, please raise your right hand. Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We will now move to action item D.
Last board meeting, I shared with you that the Texas Administrative Code, Chapter 61, included a list of school safety standards for all instructional facilities. In January, you approved the purchase of fencing to meet the standard of establishing secure enclosed areas. Tonight, we bring to you a purchase for entry-resistant film. The safety standards require that any areas not within a secured enclosed area, such as fencing, must have entry-resistant film on all window doors and windows adjacent to the doors. So what is entry-resistant film? It's film designed to provide reaction time in the event of an unwanted intruder tries to enter a building, either by hitting the window with force or with a projectile. It also prevents shards of glass flying in case it's hit with heavy force. It is not bulletproof, but it is strong enough to extend time and effort that it would take for an intruder to breach a building. And also giving more time allows our first responders time to arrive and address the issue, address an intruder. Epic Solar Control LLC, whose proposal you see starting on page 100, is an authorized 3M window film installer. It's a lengthy packet, so I'm going to go over and highlight some areas. So on page 111, you're going to see the list of school districts they have worked with in the DFW area, including McKinney ISD, Waxahachie, and they are currently working with Dallas ISD. As listed on pages 107 through 108, they have been pre-vetted and have approved contracts with over 20 purchasing cooperatives. The product is 3M Scotch Shield Safety and Security Window Film Ultra 800. So the product meets the intended purpose of an entry-resistant film. Other benefits and performance testing is included in the packet in the proposal, starting on page 143. The installers are Epic Solar Control employees. They are not subcontractors. The film will be installed on the interior side of the windows, and work will be completed when students are not at school, including evenings, weekends, and summer. Page 152, there's an overview, or there begins an overview of the installation process. Regarding pricing, on page 115, their proposal includes 3 pricing scenarios. So scenario 1 includes all the TEA required areas of window doors and windows adjacent to doors that are outside the secured enclosed area, which is outside the fencing. Scenario 1 also includes contingency funds in the event that we have to replace a window that might need replacing before we can put film on it. Scenario 2 goes above the required safety standard. It consists of placing window film on any ground level window that is outside this enclosed secure area that is large enough to allow someone to enter if broken. This scenario 2 is not required. It's recommended by the state, but it's not required. Scenario 2 also includes all the non-instructional buildings, such as the Plaza, TLC, Idea Hub, and the other non-instructional buildings. And then if you look at scenario 3, it's a combination of scenario 1 and scenario 2. So our initial purchase, if you look looking at page 115, we are going to focus on just scenario 1. That is our first initial purchase that we plan to make. We're going to be using the Safety and Facilities Enhancement Grant, Cycle 1. That grant only allows for the requirements to be paid out of this grant. Scenario 2, however, is an option in the future if additional funds become available. So therefore, tonight we're recommending the board approve the proposal from Epic Solar Control LLC for installation of entry-resistant film exceeding $50,000. Please let me know if there's any questions that I can answer for you or Mr. Paterka. We also have Roger Mullins, who can speak on behalf of Epic Solar Control.
Board, do you have any questions? Ms. Savage Martin?
Yes, on scenario 1, it shows the amount plus $10,000 contingency for a total of 517 is, I answered my own question. On the right, the far right of that top line, it doesn't say what the amount is, but I totaled up the 496 to the 10,000.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Trustee Fahey?
Thank you. The present film that we have on our campuses, the spirit, you know, the red, the blue, the mascot, will this film go over that, or will that have to be removed? Because I know we had considerable cost with all those windows.
So I'm gonna ask Mr. Mullins if he can come up and.
Good evening. If the films are on the inside of the window, anything would have to be removed for the security film to be applied directly to glass. If you're referring to the artwork, the graphics, they're usually on the outside of the window.
Okay,
So
all right.
obviously, we can look at that.
I didn't realize they would be on the outside.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll have to go feel. Thank you.
Paterka could probably answer. Is the graphics on the inside of the windows or outside? You do not know.
We'll have to check. Those are,
Be better feelers
I
than-
believe those are installed by Fast Sign, so we'll have to double check on that.
Does Dr. Nix know by any chance? Is Mr. Byrd here?
Thank you, principals. They're on the outside.
Thank you, Chief.
Those were installed by an outside vendor, so.
Any other questions or comments?
And this is an expense from the bond.
No, we're going to use the safety grant.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
Yep,
Yes,
this is not
that's
coming
even
from the
better.
bond.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments? I don't have any questions, but I really appreciate the information that was put in our binders, especially the buyer beware. And so I was elated to see that you don't have subcontractors and that they do the work themselves. So thank you so
Yes.
much for that. Do I have a motion to approve the proposal from Epic Solar for scenario 1 for installation of entry-resistant film exceeding $50,000?
So moved.
Second.
The motion has been made by trustee Savage Martin, second by trustee Vera Cruz. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Any opposed? The motion carries 4-0. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We will now move to information and discussion items. The first item is the budget update. Presenter, Mr. Todd Garrison.
Good evening, Madam Vice President, Dr. Ivory, Board of Trustees, and Mrs. Fields. It's a pleasure to have the opportunity to continue the budget planning discussion and where we are in that process for February. We'll start with this slide that you've seen and kind of give you an update of where we are in this process. We've accomplished a lot, but we have a long road ahead as well, and it'll go by quickly. We've reviewed the budget process together. We have established the budget allocation formulas for the campuses. We've done a lot of communication. We've had meetings with SLT, DLT, as well as the principals, and we've communicated with the principals the budget allocations for their campuses. All the campus administrators have received their allocations for their sites. I've had the opportunity to meet one-on-one with every campus except for 4, and those will be completed by the end of this week. Department budgets will be sent out this week for their budgets to be developed. And then we have a budget meeting on Friday amongst several of us to talk about more budget implications, specifically enrollment projections. And then I'll get into more specifics on the enrollment projections on a later slide. From there, we'll begin working on, once we have the enrollment projections set, we use those to help determine staffing ratios based on those enrollment projections. And then once we have the budgets back from the campuses and the departments, we'll utilize those to basically build our budget and look at what priorities we have. And then from there, we'll continue our budget updates and meetings, as well as any budget workshops that we need to have. I believe we have 2 that are slated. We can, again, those dates are fluid, flexible at your disposal for us to do if we need to do more or move those dates. We'll establish a primary budget or preliminary budget, and then we'll go through the process of all the postings and get a budget adopted in June. So more specifically on the enrollment piece, just a little bit of an update on how the enrollment affects our budget. It's a big portion of our budget. Our local values, our property values, and our enrollment are the 2 biggest factors in establishing the revenue for the district, which obviously dictates our budget. So we have total enrollment, which is the total number of students that are enrolled here. Our funding is based on that total number minus half of the pre-K enrollment, because we're only funded from the state at half day for pre-K. From there, we also are funded on attendance rate as well. Texas is one of 8 states in the country that are still funded on percentage. Although we're required to educate students based on the enrollment we have, we're only sent funds for the attendance. So if we're at 92%, that affects our funding. So we stress that with our campuses, and I know they work diligently to make certain we have as many students and seats as possible. And so I'll talk a little bit about the terminology that's been used to look at our enrollment figures from the past. The 23-24, which we're currently in, the reason that says projected is because that's the projected number that was established in the previous year that we would use to establish our budget based on the enrollment. The projected funding enrollment, when you take out half the pre-K, was 11,513. So where we sit currently, and I put an asterisk down there and said early estimates, we have actuals to compare with our PEIMS data as well as demographers report, and there'll be a group of us that meet and look at this more closely. So those may change slightly, but they're going to be pretty close in the ballpark of where we're at. So our current enrollment is 11,784. Again, depending on the day, that's a little bit fluid. And then our projected funding enrollment would be closer to 11,481. And then we would take a percentage of that based on what we predict our overall attendance rate would be for the district. And that'll be a big portion of an indicator in establishing our revenue budget. That in conjunction with our values, which we won't get our preliminary values until the end of March, and then April we get our certified estimated values. So as we tick through this calendar and we move through the budget planning processes, we get more and more accurate pieces so that we can begin to build that puzzle. But this is where we're at currently. So our deadlines, so I went ahead and put some of the things up here. Again, we've made a lot of progress. I won't read all of those things, but we talked about those through the planning process. We did receive our property value study that comes in from the comptroller's office. It comes in at the end of January, and those numbers look pretty congruent to where we're at. Because we have that as well as the upcoming preliminary values at the March meeting, I know you'll have a much more robust report than what I have for you today, because we'll begin looking at what our potential revenue estimates will be. We'll have a better idea of be able to refine what our current revenue status will be as well because of that property value study. So I'll be able to share a refined estimate. I would expect to see a budget amendment to look at our revenue for our current year, as well as looking at the prediction of early predictions for next year at the March board meeting. Again, from there, we'll receive budgets back and begin building those based on preliminary values and certified estimated values. Post our publishings, hold our budget workshops in an effort to get our budget adopted by the June deadline. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have at this time.
Any questions? Comments? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We will move to the information discussion, agenda item B, bond update. Dr. Halashka.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam Vice President, trustees, and Mrs. Fields. I am pleased to share with you this evening an update on our bond progress, specifically related to our selection of a bond manager and architectural partners. As was shared last month, an RFQ was posted on our website and in the local paper before the winter break for architect and bond management firms. Because the architect and the bond manager are considered professional services in accordance with the Texas Education Code 44.031F, an RFQ process was utilized instead of an RFP. Qualifications were set as a means for yielding top candidates for our district. All proposals were due on January 10th and had to include a submittal letter, firm description, project team, key personnel, evidence of experience, workload management strategy, and their design or communication processes. They also had to disclose any litigation or claims, evidence of professional liability, and share certifications, including HUB program compliance. We had 13 architect firms apply and 5 bond management firms. We conducted an anonymous screening process, and based on scores, the top 4 architect firms and the top 2 bond management firms were invited to the interview phase. Each interview started with a 30-minute presentation by the selected firms and concluded with a series of questions to further dive into the qualifications and to get a better understanding of how they would serve and support our district. Each firm was scored on a rubric, and the top 2 architect firms and the top bond management firm were selected by the committee. Tonight, we'll be introducing our selected bond manager and architects, but first, I want to just give a quick update on our next steps. Tomorrow, we will post the awards on the district website to notify our community that we're moving forward with our bond efforts. This week, we will also meet with the bond manager to discuss preliminary project timelines and to start considering project assignments for each architect. We will then schedule planning meetings with both architect firms to discuss projects once we make those determinations of assignments. So with our next steps shared, I am now pleased to introduce our selected firms. I'm going to share each firm with you with a brief understanding of why they were selected and give each of them an opportunity to introduce themselves and any team members they may have with them this evening. For our bond manager, we have selected Lockwood, Andrews, and Newman, Inc., better known as LAN. To some of you, this firm may sound familiar. They did an audit for the district's 2014 bond to help us ensure all projects had been fully executed and to seek savings opportunities. Their experience and attention to detail created an immediate trust with the selection committee, and we feel confident they will provide excellent service and guidance to our team. Mr. J.P. Crom, the program principal, is here this evening and will introduce the LAN team.
Thank you for the brief introduction. It's well to be with you tonight, members of the board. With me tonight, I have some very key members of our team. I have, if you'll stand, guys, in order, Phil Metters, Kamar Hawk, and Dowin Sims. Each of these folks plays a very key role on our team, technical as well as social roles for us, making sure that the projects that we plan and work in teamwork in conjunction with the architects that you'll hear from in a few minutes go off without a hitch. We're very excited to begin working with you again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Graham. Our architect selections included 2 outstanding firms. Huckabee has been a longtime partner with the district, and you're very familiar with the excellent service they provide. The committee selected them due to their in-depth knowledge of our district and their innovative educational concepts. We are confident they will effectively intertwine modern designs while preserving important traditions that make our district special. Mr. Mark Berg, project manager, is here this evening and will be introducing the team members joining him.
Thank you, and good evening. Mark Berg with Huckabee Architects, project manager, architect, principal. You'll see me for quite a few years. A couple team members I brought with me are Aaron. He is our designer on the project and best known as Dr. V, educational consultant. He used to work at Mansfield. Now we have him on board. I'd like to take the opportunity to say thank you very much, and we're very much looking forward to getting started working on this project. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Berg. The second architect firm selected is a new partnership for our district, and I'm proud to welcome WRA Architects to Duncanville ISD. WRA is a highly respected firm that has built a strong reputation across the state for their ability to refresh and revive facilities with a new, modern, innovative appeal. Their ability to connect design, student learning needs, and instructional purpose stood out to the committee, and we are so happy to have the opportunity to work with Mr. Graham Bowman, a partner with WRA and his team. So, Mr. Bowman.
Thank you very much for the opportunity and consideration, taking the time to invite us to your team. We're looking forward to it. I'm Graham Bowman. I'm a partner at the firm. I've been there for the last 15 years. I've got Seth Stevens, who's a principal at the firm, would be part of the project. We look forward to earning your trust and starting out this relationship. Thank you.
Thank you.
We are so excited to work with each of these firms and really look forward to getting started. We will continue to keep the board updated on our progress, and we'll begin meeting with our oversight committee starting next month. So this concludes my update this evening, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Board, do we have any questions? Comments? I have a comment for Lan and, what was our other one? Huckabee. Thank you so much for working with Duncanville. Thank you for not just having your name, but showing up physically, especially Lan. I've seen you a lot. And Mr. Sims, thank you so much for all of the communication. And whenever we see you at conferences, if we have questions, you are very knowledgeable and you take the time to answer questions, and you've become the face of Lan. So thank you so much for that personal touch that you have brought. So thank you, and thank you to Huckabee as well.
Thanks.
We will now move to the information discussion agenda, item C. Presenter is Dr. Jordan.
Good evening, Madam Vice President, trustees, and Mrs. Fields. I am honored to present to you tonight the academic calendar development process for the 2024-25 school year. Next slide. So this year, we will proceed forward with our calendar committee. We implemented that a couple of years ago, and we figured out that that's the jam for us, having parents, teachers, staff members, principal, and assistant principals all participate on this committee. We will launch our first committee meeting tomorrow, and we have approximately 50 people who have RSVP'd to attend the calendar committee. It's important for us to hear from a large, diverse perspective. Next slide. So this year, as we proceed forward in building the 24-25 calendar, there are 3 key things that we will include in our calendar. One, that we have 75,600 minutes. This year's school calendar has well past those minutes, so when we have bad weather days, we don't necessarily have to make those up, and so we will continue to include that in our calendar. We will also have 3 teacher work days that's embedded in our calendar, and then any additional professional development days that we would like to see. And we would also make sure that the calendar has 187 contract days for our teachers. Next slide. So as you can see on the slide, we have just a timeline. Today I'm sharing with you just the process. Our goal, the very end goal, is to bring to you draft calendars with a survey for March 18th and a recommendation for us for the 24-25 school year. So the calendar committee will meet twice. We will review the feedback from the survey, and then I will make a recommendation to you in March. Next slide. This concludes my academic calendar process update for you all. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have at this time.
Any questions? Question? Trustee Fahey?
Thank you. Would it be possible for you to submit the list of attendees who are present, who are on the committee, and then who are present at each meeting?
Yes, ma'am. I can give that to Mrs. Fields in her weekly update for you.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Dr. Jordan.
Thank you.
We will move to the information discussion agenda, item D, instructional materials. Dr. Jordan is already here.
Yes. I am honored to share with you just a high-level overview of our instructional materials proclamation 2024, which will include our science K-12 textbook adoption. Next slide. So the State Board of Education uses what we call a proclamation when we need to call for new instructional materials. So Proclamation 2024 is calling for instructional materials in English and in Spanish for science, grades K through 12. And so materials, before they are ordered, before we move forward, we will bring this recommendation to you, the board, for final approval with the goal of implementing our new instructional material in the 24-25 school year. Next slide. And so our instructional material allotment team, which consists of 20 campus and central office staff members, anywhere from our instructional support specialists, assistant principals, have come together to review all of the different instructional materials that have been approved on the commissioner's list. Next slide. So before you, you have the timeline. Again, it's important for us to get as much feedback as possible from all of the stakeholders, and so we have all of the sample materials housed at the Dr. Mark Smith Teaching and Learning Center where people can come and review them. We've began this process back in July, where first we went to Region 10 as a curriculum and instruction team to just see which publishers were going to be released. And then in October, we selected publishers to bring back to the district that met our needs here in Duncanville. And then there's been a review process and a public input process. Our goal is for the team to make a final recommendation by the end of this month, which will then come to the executive C&I team, and we will bring a recommendation to you in March. Next slide. So there's some non-negotiables when we're reviewing instructional materials for us in Duncanville. Number one, the resources have to be aligned to our Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills. And then two, reflective, it meets the needs of the diverse students and community values of Duncanville ISD. We have a large emergent bilingual population, and so it's important for us to include all of the students that we serve, and they can see themselves in our resources. Next slide. So over the past few months, the team has reviewed resources from the 6 publishers that you see on the slide. Again, they have had presentations from the publishers, and now the resources are all housed at the Dr. Mark Smith Teaching and Learning Center, and teachers have been able to play with them with our scope and sequence and look at our Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills just to see how well they will work for us here in Duncanville. Next slide. So what's next? We have all these materials we've been reviewing. We've had many presentations. I'm presenting to you just the plan in March. The C&I executive leadership team will present publisher and material recommendations to you. So although the instructional materials allotment team is making a recommendation, it's important for me to go through all of the materials as well. And then in May, we're going to finalize the order counts and submit an order after board approval from you all. Then June through August, that's our heavy time because we want to make sure teachers have access to our resources. We want to provide professional learning opportunities. We will work with the maintenance and operations department to distribute our new materials, and then we will order any additional materials for anyone that we missed in our snapshot count. And finally, in August, we are professional learning heavy, making sure that everyone knows how to utilize the resources that we recently adopted. And then we will continue throughout the year to provide support to our new hires. Next slide. So this concludes my presentation for Proclamation 2024. I am happy to answer any questions that you have at this time.
Board, are there any questions? Comments?
Thank you. Thank you.
I have a couple of questions.
Yes, ma'am.
As far as the resource materials are concerned, are they mainly, what % would you say have online materials?
So of the 6, all 6 are online materials. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
And how many come with consumable materials?
So all 6 come with consumable materials. Some are within our budget allotment, and others would take additional resources. So there's 2 publishers that would require additional district resources for the consumables.
When you make the recommendation, would you highlight those for us so that we can see?
Yes, ma'am.
So we can distinguish the 2?
Yes, ma'am.
There are no further questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
There are no communication from citizens. Having stated that, oh, well, no, we don't have any. The meeting is adjourned.